All right, let's dive in. Have you ever wondered why blockchain, with all its amazing promise, still feels kind of stuck in its own digital bubble? Today, we're going to look at a brand new approach that wants to completely tear down the walls between the digital world and the real world. But first, to really get where we're going, we need a map of where we are right now. I want you to think of the entire blockchain universe as this massive, sprawling city. It's buzzing with potential, right? New buildings and services are popping up everywhere you look. But just like any city that grows way too fast, actually getting around can be a total nightmare. We're talking traffic jams, crazy high toll fees, and a map of roads that's just confusing. So, the very foundation of our city, the main highways, are what we call Layer 1 blockchains. Think Bitcoin, think Ethereum. These are the big arteries. Every single car, every transaction has to travel on these roads to get verified and secured. And while they are incredibly secure, they just weren't built for the kind of rush hour traffic we see in today's digital world. To solve this traffic problem, developers got clever and built what we call Layer 2 solutions. You can think of these as the express lanes or the toll roads that run right alongside the main highways. They basically bundle up a bunch of cars or transactions and process them off the main road to make things way faster and cheaper, before merging the final results back onto that super secure Layer 1 highway.
But here's the thing. Even with all these shiny new express lanes, our blockchain city is still facing some serious growing pains. The root problem of all that traffic hasn't really gone away. We've just found some clever workarounds for now.
The core issue is still right there in front of us. When too many people try to use the network all at once, you get gridlock. The main highways, the Layer 1s, get completely clogged up. And what happens then? Well, the price of gas, which is basically the toll you pay to get your transaction through, skyrockets, and everything just slows to a crawl.
And the fundamental reason for all this traffic comes down to this classic engineering problem called the Blockchain Trilemma. You've got three things you want: security, scalability, which just means speed and capacity, and decentralization. The problem is, you can't have all three cranked up to the max at the same time. If you improve one, you almost always have to sacrifice a bit of another. Layer 1s like Ethereum, they prioritize security and decentralization, and that's exactly why they struggle with scalability. So that brings us to where we are today, with a bunch of different solutions, and every single one is a compromise. You've got rollups, for instance. They borrow that top-notch security from Layer 1, but they can come with higher costs. Then you have sidechains, which offer a ton of flexibility, but you're giving up some of that high-end security. And something like the Lightning Network, it's incredibly fast for simple payments, but it's just not built for more complex stuff. Each one is a specialized tool, not a one-size-fits-all solution. So if building more and more layers of roads isn't the final answer, then what is? Well, a new project called Rialo is making the case that we need to stop just patching the old system. Instead, they think we need to redesign the city's entire blueprint from the ground up.
Rialo starts with this really provocative statement. It's not a Layer 1, it's not a Layer 2, it's not a Layer 3. And this isn't just some clever marketing, it's signaling a huge shift in thinking. The team behind it believes the real problem isn't just about how fast transactions are, it's the massive disconnect between our digital city and the real world it's supposed to be serving.
And believe me, this isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. Sub-Zero Labs, the team building Rialo, just raised a whopping $20 million seed round. And get this, the investors include Pantera Capital and Coinbase Ventures, two of the absolute heaviest hitters in the crypto space. Plus, Mainnet Labs, the brilliant minds behind the Sui network. This isn't just money. It's a massive vote of confidence in a really bold new vision. I absolutely love this analogy from co-founder Ade Adepoju. He says right now, we have a lot of iPods, tools that do one thing really well. But what we desperately need is an iPhone, an all-in-one platform that seamlessly pulls together everything developers and users need, especially that connection to the real world. Okay, so how are they actually planning to build this iPhone for Web3? Well, the core idea is to build all the essential tools for real-world interaction directly into the network itself. The goal is to make all that messy underlying infrastructure practically invisible to the people who are building on it. This slide just lays out the shift so perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. Developers have to basically glue together all these separate, clunky pieces. You've got oracles to get real-world data, these slow bridges to move assets between different chains, and all this extra middleware just to trigger actions. It's slow, it's expensive, and honestly, it's a huge pain. Rialo's approach? It just integrates all of this natively right out of the box. So let's break down what this invisible infra really does. First, it handles real-world data. This means developers can just pull information, like a credit score or a weather report, directly into a smart contract. No clunky third-party oracles needed. Next, it's built for real-world speed. The whole system is event-driven, so an app can automatically react the second a package gets delivered or a stock price changes. It also nails connectivity and privacy, letting data flow seamlessly between chains and even letting apps talk to users through a simple email or text. No complex wallet setup required for that part.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, but what does it actually mean for you? Why should you care about a simpler developer experience, and how can you start thinking about these new trends in Web3? So, let's boil it all down. Here are the main things to take away. First, the big race in crypto is no longer just about who's the fastest, it's about who can connect to the real world in the most meaningful way. Second, all that clunky infrastructure we have today is a huge roadblock holding back innovation. Rialo's full-stack idea tries to solve this by building everything in. And finally, and this is a big one, this is about talent. By making it radically simpler to build, projects like Rialo could unlock a massive wave of innovation from developers who are maybe scared off by how complex Web3 used to be.
So, what can you do with this information? Well, you can start looking at projects through this new lens. Ask yourself, do they focus on real-world utility? And don't get so stuck in the whole L1 versus L2 debate. See what new categories are starting to emerge. For Rialo specifically, you can join their waitlist to get updates. And just start thinking, what new kinds of apps become possible when they can react to the real world in real time? And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. Maybe the path to getting everyone on board with blockchain isn't about adding more and more complex layers to our blockchain city, but about finally tearing down the walls that separate it from the real world. Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.